It was the wedding of the decade and the first royal party since the coronation of George VI in 1937. 75 years ago this November 20th, Princess Elizabeth and Philip, the newly minted Duke of Edinburgh, tied the knot. The royal wedding became the icing on the cake for a generation of British couples who married in record numbers. Rationing and austerity might have remained, but peacetime Britain had never seen so many young couples, a record-breaking 401,210, heading hopefully down the aisle as in 1947. This was the last generation who not only got married in overwhelming numbers, but who also stayed married. The previous comparable spike-in had come in 1939-40 when desperate young lovers, facing estrangement and possible death, had tied the knot before battling the Nazis. With their November 1947 austerity wedding, Elizabeth and Philip joined the ranks of ex-servicemen and women who had enjoyed intermittent wartime romances and were eager to settle down and find stability. No matter that many of the brides wore recycled wedding dresses and rings, and had little prospect of their own marital home, their average age fell to a tender 22. Today, 75 years on, divorce rates have risen exponentially, jumping by another 10% after the first lockdown. In a society where marriage has become more diverse, older, the average age of a bride is now 31, and markedly less successful. The end of the 60s and beginning of the 70s saw another bumper season for marriages, but times had changed and so had the divorce laws. Unlike the 1947 generation, far fewer couples lasted the course. Although weddings are now a lifestyle choice, just over half of today's adult population have tied the knot. Nearly 50% of marriages end in divorce. Things could not have been more different in 1947. The Attlee government was clear: women had vital work to do ensuring the adequate continuance of the British race, and, for that task, marriage was a prerequisite. Daphne Ettridge, 99, from Chelmsford and in the same wartime auxiliary territorial service as the late Queen, recalls, marriage was very, very upfront. It was a big part of life. It was our focus. So yes, there was a lot of talk about the Princess and Philip. Barbara Wetherill, 97, who like the late Queen also married in 1947, remembers the period well. Sitting on her sofa in Selby, North Yorks, she smiles. There was a song that was always on the radio. People will say we're in love, and I was. There were a lot of us in love at that time. I don't think it necessarily was Elizabeth and Philip's favorite song, but it was played when they got engaged. It was 75 years ago, but the tune, from the hit Rodgers and Hammerstein musical Oklahoma, has remained stuck in Barbara's mind because it resonated for her, too. I was 9 months older than Princess Elizabeth, she says. I always liked that our lives ran in parallel. My wedding dress and hand-embroidered veil are still in a cardboard box in the bottom of my wardrobe. As Time magazine pointed out, Great Britain in 1947 had its very own apocalyptic quality. The British people had been made to possess many months of misery. Gales boiled over. Fallen trees blocked many main roads. Bomb ruins crashed into bomb-wakened houses. The country was a mess and the terrible weather made it worse. Barbara sighs. Yes, I was a taxi driver in Rotherham and we couldn't get out because of the storms. Perhaps that's why so many of us got